16 and 17 have been corrected and should be removed. Village Plan 2, the courtyard product removed. The note on page 76 in Village Plan 2, and I didn't get a page, but in Village 3,
Village Plan 2 is 76.
yeah, and what's Village?
83.
83 for Village 3, that the note needs to be removed, that it's regarding the open space. And that we also include a condition, an additional condition that's, there's a plat note on all plots that identify that there is a recreational RC park across the river.
You can add community commercial too, or no?
Oh, is that the community commercial? That's already in the
That's a
condition?
separate plat note. is
Yeah,
what Wilden's asking.
Oh.
A plat note.
A plat note where appropriate, for Village 3,
Three.
a plat note for Village 3, that people who move in will know that they are moving into a community commercial neighboring.
Second.
Adjacent plat note, right? Adjacent plat.
They're adjacent to it, yeah.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman McComber, second Councilman Wilden. Any further discussion? Anything from the applicant?
I did want to acknowledge the amount of time and work staff has put in since September. I don't think I've ever had
361.
361 pages. So, yeah, it was quite a read, but I did want to acknowledge it, all the work they put in. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman Carn?
No, I'm just turning on the
No,
vote.
for vote.
He's
Oh,
asking
aye.
for your vote.
Aye. Wilden?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I do want to also just thank you for listening to us. I mean, I was definitely one of the more vocal ones. Could not be more pleased. I was reading the notes. It's just going to be so much more clear when people are coming in. They'll see something across from the sales office, and then they won't be disappointed when they don't get that, because they'll have very good details and the images and the wording and the writing it up. The park, the amenities, the widening of the sidewalks. I mean, so many amazing things, even beyond what we asked for, to create more view corridors, limiting to the 6-unit buildings. Just could not believe that from a very confrontational, like not a good experience, to just ending up with such an amazing product. It shows you that it's worth the effort, and sometimes it's worth the confrontation, because you end up getting a better product in the end. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for working on plat notes for this one and the prior one to protect the RC park.
Thanks.
you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, we got item 9, amendments to the Saratoga Springs City Code.
Sarah, there's another PowerPoint in the folder. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm presenting on a code amendment to Title 8.05 for small wireless facilities inside the public way. The purpose of this code amendment is to prepare the city for future small wireless facility applications to ensure compliance by implementing standard details with Utah code and to make the standards balance with what our community aesthetics and standards are. So some of the key changes to the code, we're introducing the small wireless facilities design standards that are going to be accessible on our website under standards and specifications. We also define a application process, application and review process that's based on the state code, and then also introduce the specifications for facility types, size, location, size. So here are the facility types. We're introducing type 1 would be on a wooden pole, wooden utility pole that has aerial attachments to it. There's still a little bit of that still in the city. This would be for a pole that happens to be inside the public right-of-way as well. There is note in the standards that we are an underground district, and anything that is placed on that pole and then the land around is developed, it will need to be moved underground and placed on a freestanding type installation, which is type 3. Type 2 installation would be on a co-located 4G or 5G antenna on a streetlight pole. And then our type 4 is a multi-carrier freestanding pole. It's a little bit larger and to accommodate multiple carriers.
I would just clarify, state law somewhat ties our hands. We can't regulate, we can't restrict, we have to allow it, but we can regulate kind of form. So that's what we're trying to do here, is we have to allow all of these situations, but we can provide rules and forms and requirements that if they're gonna do it, they have to follow. Again, potentially undergrounding or making it match running aesthetics. So we're trying to balance, you know, this imposition that the state puts on us to allow this even when we maybe might not desire.
Okay, I got comment, Councilman Comber and then Councilman Carn.
So just a quick question. I know we need to allow them and things. So we're not able to say, yes, you want to be in this neighborhood. You need to come in and replace the light and put it there and have a light there. We can't do that.
If they want to go on our light, we must allow it to a point where we can require that they replace the light with this, that it still match these aesthetics.
Yeah, so it sort of blends, and I mean, it'll be different than the ones next to, but we can't say, you can't come in and put a pole right next to our light.
We can, again, we can regulate spacing. So we say if you want a freestanding pole, it has to be at least 25 feet from the other pole to this pole. So we can add regulations to that, but we can't prohibit.
So, and there's a limit on how far you can, I mean, how close or how far? Because I could say 300 feet, because then it has to go on one of our poles, because our lights are 300
I
feet.
mean, as you can assume, at some point, you're, you know,
I just don't want to have a bunch of poles with another poles, because I'm gonna have people come in here complaining because now we've blocked their view of the lake and Timpanogos.
clarify, the state law does not require us to allow it on. So it's only required.
It's required on roadways that are 60
Arterials or more.
feet, 62 feet curb to curb. So it's not 62 feet right of way, it's the
So like
road has to be 62
Riverside Drive would
wide. So
qualify.
it is our minor arterials and larger roadway
I
sections.
believe our collectors are still too narrow, right?
Yes.
So even collectors.
Oh, so Riverside would be too narrow. Okay. So this is Redwood Road. This is,
Redwood Road.
Pony
Pioneer
Express.
Crossing, Crossroads Boulevard, Pony Express. The biggest.
okay.
Can I make a quick comment?
please.
So the state changed this probably 4 or 5 years ago. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, at least one.
So this is all based around multimeter frequency 5G, which is a technology that's frankly, we're not going to see. We're getting in line with code to allow for it because we have to, but I don't see this being an issue in the immediate
We are
future.
seeing it pop up in other cities. So Draper has seen several of these appear.
Is that part of a Draper-built system or Carrier-built system?
I don't really.
Okay.
So, I mean, for me, whatever the state code, the largest distance requirement between poles, because if I would rather this go on an existing light post, because then it's just, so people will stop seeing it. After the first time they see it, by the third time they see that light pole, they're not gonna notice it anymore. So just making sure that,
So
yeah,
We want to change it.
I just wanna make sure that we're doing,
basins that we have are 15 feet from trees, 15 feet from hydrants, 25 feet radial distance from any other pole, 250 feet radial distance from any other type 3 installation, which is a freestanding single carrier pole.
200 feet from another freestanding pole.
like our light poles.
No,
25
25
feet from a light pole.
If they want to come put a freestanding pole like the type
4.
4 and another carrier wants, they have to be 250 feet away from another freestanding pole, which would incentivize them to.
Use-
find a streetlight.
Because our streetlights are what, 300 feet?
So additional things.
Aren't they 300 feet, but they go on an angle?
300
Per
posted
angle, yeah.
You
size of
wouldn't
the
be
street.
able to add- In addition to the streetlights, you wouldn't be able to add more than one additional of these every 250 feet.
And is it state code that it's 25 feet, or can we make that higher?
That is our discretion.
You could make it higher.
300 feet.
Reasonable, yeah.
I just want to encourage it, highly encourage it that goes on the light poles, because if it does not become feasible in the future, then when we remove it, now we're just, it's not as much blight on the, because who's going to maintain it? Because if a company goes out of business because it isn't going to be viable, then that pole becomes blight. And do we have in the code, I didn't read where we can remove one if the company's, it's not actively using it or they're letting it come to disrepair?
There is,
I missed it.
They have to sign a master lease agreement with the city. So in that lease agreement,
We'll be able to
we would
remove it
cover
if
that.
it,
We'd be able to recover that. It would depend on if they're providing services to our residents, but
They would be.
they would have to do basically an agreement. Under the state law, they have to sign an agreement still with the city. So we did pass the code, like you mentioned. We didn't follow it up with design guidelines, which is what this does. There will be a third step with an agreement with the provider.
okay.
It's very fast. Low latency, but very small.
yeah, and so this, it's some benefits it's in this process, and then our recommendation. So if you have any other questions.
If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion just because I want to increase the distance, but not by a ton. I won't be obnoxious. But I move that we approve amendments to the Saratoga Springs City Code Title 805, the wireless facilities, public way, including small wireless facility design standards, City Initiative Ordinance 25-45 dated today with staff findings and conditions, with an additional condition that a freestanding pole has to be within 75 feet, it can't be within 75 feet of an existing light post, instead of 25. Because then that makes it so it'll be halfway between. Does that make sense? So then I won't have pole, pole, I'll have pole, pole, pole. It is, and then, the reason why I do 75 is because then someone can have a pole here, and then they can have another pole 75, and then there'd still be space between them to have the two poles. I'm trying to be nice to the right, but that way then two different companies can be able, yeah, okay.
Second,
Okay, I've got a first and I have a second. Councilman Carn? Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion?
Which was 76 feet.
What half of one?
Councilman Wilden?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Conver?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I'm just trying to win the bet.
I'm joking. Oh, I forgot.
We got amendments to Title 19.
Sorry, we have a bet on what time the city council is going to end, and
You're
I'm
hang-
looking like I might win. No,
Sarah, do you want to pull that one up?
Oh, he is.
I am
That's
not
right.
filibustering.
He was the last.
I'm walking out.
Sarah, do you want to pull that one up?
He did 8:45 in 1 minute.
I think mine's
24 hours straight.
Yeah, there was someone like
15, yeah.
Filibuster.
21 hours.
All right, so these amendments to Title 19 are reflective of changes made at the state legislature in their most recent session. These amendments are to Title 1902 definitions, 1909 off-street parking, and 1912 subdivisions. The first of those is to 1909 off-street parking, and is with regard to tandem parking within residential zones. At the most recent state legislative session, they restricted ability of cities to restrict tandem parking. So we are striking that from our code as shown here. The other portion of this is 1902, our definitions, and is reflective of Senate Bill 104, which dealt with amendments to the previous property line adjustment process and replacing it with boundary adjustment. So we've added definitions related to that process. and then are proposing to just adopt the process outlined by state law. So any questions there? We'll have simple and full boundary adjustments as part of this. But yeah, with that, any questions that you guys have?
If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So made for business item 10 is listed on the agenda with staff findings, and there are no conditions.
So seconded.
Comber, second from, I didn't hear who was, second whisper. Karn? Okay, Councilwoman Barton?
Aye.
Comber?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Karn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have a work session we will
Thank
go
you.
into for the office warehouse visual preference survey.
Oh, boy.
Oh, look at
We have visual aids. Look at this. What? We saw you coming in with the big boards, and we're like,
Boards and stickers, so y'all can stand up.
we have stickers? Oh, okay.
Stickers, interactive.
This is a work session, moving around. I like that.
All right.
We're gonna go do stickers.
Oh, no.
No.
Wait,